Hello, hello, hello. Testing 1 2 1 2 testing 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28 29 30 31 30 no, I'm kidding. I don't know why I'm live streaming. I honestly don't. It's in the afternoon. I guess I just got a little bored and figured I'd start up the old computer. Ooh. Start up the old computer and start talking at random. I've had a lot of stuff on my mind lately, but maybe some stuff that I don't. And it's really not relevant to anyone else except for me, I guess. But I don't really have anything of relevance to say about. I mean, yeah, any issues or anything like that. It's kind of funny because when people disappear off the internet, I guess there's really nothing to talk about with them. So yeah, I figured it would be see if I have anyone watching. Probably not, which is fine because you know that's the way the cookie crumbles. I should have. Oh, there's one watching right now. That's probably me. Yeah. So, anyway, um, there we go. Need to adjust my computer and the screen and everything. It's kind of funny, this whole live streaming thing, because I had to um download a different program, a live streaming program, because I couldn't do it directly through YouTube, so I'm using a program. And this live stream on YouTube is delayed by a couple of seconds, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 seconds. And so the live stream, I have to look at the live stream in the program that I downloaded rather than YouTube. So that's why I had to adjust everything. So story time. I had a couple of stories to tell. I actually have a comedy channel. First of all, man, I need to start working out. I got that double chin going. Wow. At least I don't have sausage fingers yet. Anyway, yeah. So I do have a comedy channel. If anyone is interested in that. And the comedy channel, I'm not even sure if you can actually find it on YouTube without yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you can search it or not on YouTube and find it, but um, it is a different channel, I guess. It's more redneck comedy, kind of. I did have one, I guess, one monologue on there that I did a few years back, and it was dormant for a little bit as well. But yeah, so the monologue on there is probably it is old, obviously, but it's considered new content to everyone who hasn't seen it. So it's actually pretty funny, and a lot of it is true as well. So, and I also have my scam phone calls on there as well, that I posted on my Joy Spackle channel as well. So, um, just because I think there was one of them that I did it with a southern accent, and then the other one I'm not quite sure. But my IRS scam call and my what was the other one? Um, computer tech scam call as well. Those are actually pretty funny, in my opinion, and encourage everyone to check that out. But anyway, the my comedy channel. which had been dormant. I'm trying to revive it as well. Is called Hillbilly Holler, and basically, you probably have to do a search for type in Hillbilly space Holler, and then you probably have to write channel after it when you do a search. So, um, let me try that on my phone real quick. I used to funny, and I wanted to tell a kind of a funny story about something that kind of happened to me back when I was in college. Not really funny, but it just kind of Walmart's in the news right now, and Walmart apparently they raised the pay of some of their employees, and they're also closing some stores as well and giving some bonuses um, to some people as well. But I think they're closing like I think I saw um, let's see 60 stores that they're closing. Um, anyway, so yeah, if you just type in Hillbilly Holler and then the word channel after it, the channel will come up. Mine is the one with the cartoon of the guy drinking moonshine. So only 3 videos on there. Anyway, I worked at Walmart back. I worked for Walmart back when I was in college. Worked there for 2.5 years, trying to get through college. A lot of people were kind of wondering um, like how can you survive on minimum wage going through college? And it can be done, but I also was living in a different area of the country at the time as well. So the cost of living wasn't quite as high as what it is, well, now, obviously, but or what it is in bigger cities as well, because I was in a small town. That's where my college was. I went to a private college in a smaller town. Anyway, got the job at Walmart. Started out in the gardening center in the middle of June, and that was kind of stupid because the temperature was over 100 degrees pretty much every day, and I almost got heat stroke. So I talked to my manager. I'm like, "Hey, I can't work outside like this. Is there any way you can move me to the electronics department?" She's like, "All right, I'll check, see if they need help in the electronics department." And luckily they did, and that's how I started in the electronics department. So it was about my second week in the electronics department at Walmart, and there was a guy that came up. So back at the time, they were really popular. They had like these little 9-inch televisions, maybe 15-inch television actually. Um, they had like a VHS player built into them, so a lot of people got them for like for like their RVs or camping trips or whatever. We had a display of those out in the middle hall, or in the action aisle they call it, and um, so there was a huge display of them. I had a guy, normal looking guy. He comes up to me, and I'm like, for Walmart, they have what they call the 10-foot rule. So if a customer comes within 10 feet of you, you have to greet them and ask them, if you can help them find anything, or whatever. Me being the good employee I was, as it was still a new job to me, I was exercising that 10-foot rule. So I'm like, all right. I said, "Hey, how you doing, sir? May I help you?" He's looking at the TVs, and the biggest the worst southern accent that you could possibly ever even come across. He's like, yeah, can you fit a rubber deer on there? I'm like, what? So I couldn't understand him at first, and I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, excuse me, what was your question? And he repeated it. He said, looked at it. He's like, yeah, can you fit a rubber deer on there? I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, this guy must be a weird guy because he's wanting to put a rubber deer on a TV. I'm like, first of all, he must be in some crazy stuff. I'm like, all right, what the hell does this guy want to put a rubber deer on a TV for? So I'm playing it off like I understood what he's saying, you know? I'm like, yeah, yeah, you know, with most of them you can, you know? And he's like, all right, so you can fit a rubber deer on there. I'm like, yeah, yeah, you can, you know? And he's like, all right, thank you. And I'm like, gosh dang, that was the funniest thing, but I was just laughing all day about it. So then the coworker that came in later on um, to I guess take over the shift. I'm like, I was laughing. I told him, I'm like, yeah, this guy came in. He was looking at these 15-inch televisions, and he was asking if he could put a rubber deer on them. I'm like, what the, you know? And I don't know. My coworker, he must have heard it before or whatever, or maybe I don't know. But come to find out, the guy was asking if you could put a pair of rabbit ears on the TV. Not a rubber deer, but rabbit ears. And I'm like, that makes sense now. Anyway, that was back when I first started at Walmart. So um, I'm not. Yeah, it was funny. Hello. I'm gonna butcher your name. Chrismer or Chrismer. I don't know. I don't know how to say it. So um, but yeah. So I tell that story all the time, and um, hard to believe I worked at Walmart for 2.5 years as well, because that was definitely a uh, different beast altogether. But I do have quite a few Walmart stories in my back pocket to tell people. All right, I got the name right. There's another story. This is really bad. This is terrible. I'm not even sure if I should tell this or not, but because it kind of makes me sound like an idiot. But my my cousin's husband. Um. Oh, okay, I see. All right, I know who you are now. My cousin's husband. And thank you for subscribing and being subscribed since the beginning. I really appreciate that. So my next story, my cousin's husband had passed away. He had some kind of like some kind of cancer or something of that nature, and uh, I went to his funeral, or no, his visitation. I couldn't make it to the funeral because I was working at the time, and we were just in a different city and everything. We had to get back home, but we went to his visitation, and oh my gosh, this is so bad. This makes me sound so bad, but I, it's so funny too at the same time. Um, he I oh, hello, reality check. Thank you. Um, I've missed you as well. Um, and this will all make sense five months down the road too. So when everyone forgets about it. Did you get my email, honey? Huh? Did you get my email? No, I'm kidding. So I went to the visitation, and I can't do this. So you know, we're in there, you know, and I give my cousin a hug, and she's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna say my name because I don't want anybody to know my name at this point." But she said, "Oh, it's. I'm glad to see you, you know, and everything. Glad you could make it." And I said, "Oh boy," at this lady's husband's funeral. I said, I said, "It's good to be here." At this lady's husband's funeral, I'm like, "Oh, it's good to be here," and I don't even know why I said that. And then what made it worse was I proceeded to say I wouldn't miss it for the world. Oh my god. So I'm like, oh, and it was terrible, you know. I haven't been to very many funerals, you know, and it's kind of one of those things like, what do you say at, what do you say to people? Um, it's just kind of awkward, you know. And oh my gosh, I just caught myself like, oh yeah, glad to be here. I wouldn't miss it for the world. I'm like, like, like I'm going to like a, I don't know, some kind of event or something. You know, oh, I wouldn't miss it for the world. Terrible, absolutely terrible. Um, wow. Oh, thank you very much for dropping everything and heading over here and checking me out. Oh boy, yeah, it was at the time, I kind of laughed a little bit at the time, but now I laugh pretty hard at it now. So it was definitely a very funny. And it's so stupid, you know. Sometimes I find myself kind of sticking my foot in my own mouth as well. So just I don't know. I just kind of get that way sometimes, and that's why I don't really talk too much in real life either, because I'm maybe afraid that I'm going to say something wrong to someone and get punched in the throat or something. My name's Spackle. Spackle. All right, I'll be Spackle then. I appreciate that. I don't know. Let's see. I'm gonna put my email right here if anybody wants to email me for any odd reason. Um. Yeah, I had to make sure I wrote that right. Wow. I hope everyone had a really good holiday. I don't know if anyone else saw my last video, but we were talking about the holidays, and um, the holidays were um, absolutely terrible for me. But um, I got the flu. I got influenza A right before Christmas. Um, I understand now why they hospitalize people who have the flu. And um, yeah, it was one of the worst things I've ever been through in my life. So I do realize that there are also other flu strains like influenza B and whatever. The flu is actually really bad where I'm at right now in the Northwest. The hospitals are kind of filled to capacity, and there's actually lately there's been some people. Um, in the past couple of weeks, there have been a couple of kids who have died. Um, yeah, so I thought the flu was a joke, honestly. You know, back in the day, but it's definitely no joke at all. I mean, I was down for 3 days, and I encourage anyone who starts feeling bad. I'm not talking like the stomach flu, but the flu is absolutely like the one that attacks your respiratory system is actually one of the worst. Vargonian. Shout out from the Northwest. Where are you from? Like, what state are you in? If you don't mind me asking. But yeah, I mean, the flu is actually really bad everywhere. And I just thought a couple days ago, I just remembered that the flu. This is the 100 year anniversary of the flu epidemic of 1918, which is really weird. And this is definitely one of the worst seasons that I've witnessed in my lifetime. So Seattle, all right. I've never been to Seattle. I've driven through there, going up to Canada. Went to Canada back in like 2012 or something like that. Drove up through there. Traffic was terrible. um. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about your son. That is absolutely terrible. There's yeah, I mean that kind of sounds like um what we had in our house as well, and my son got it and my wife got it as well. So definitely no joke, nothing to play with. They do say influenza B is not as bad, but I didn't want to find out. I did get a flu shot. Um, don't care what any anti-vaxxers say at this point. I do know that sometimes they are dangerous, but at this point, after experiencing that, what I did with the influenza A, any little bit of protection is better than none, in my opinion, at this point. So, and when I got my flu shot yesterday, actually, my arm kind of hurt a little bit, but swine flu. I remember that too well. I know that was like back in like 2008 or 2009 or something like that. But oh, thank you. Yes, we are all healthy at the moment, and definitely don't want to experience that ever again. But luckily, my son, he was able to take some Tamiflu pretty much right away, and then my wife actually got a flu shot, so her symptoms weren't that bad at all. So that kind of made me a little bit of a believer, but I do know, like, in the past when I've gotten a flu shot, I've actually gotten sick after getting the flu shot. Like, I'll get like a, I say sick, but not really. I'll get like a kind of a stuffy nose and then something, some little bit like in the throat or whatever, but um, nothing too. Hello, Judy. Thanks for stopping in. But nothing too severe, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. But flu is yeah. Like I said, I thought I've had the flu in the past, which I probably have, but this last one was I cannot remember a time where I felt as bad. I was really dizzy. I actually got physically sick from being dizzy, which I really don't. I was like really I don't know, nauseous from being dizzy. And funny thing, I was supposed to watch my son that day as well, and I was just laying on the floor in the living room and letting him watch TV, which I usually don't do, but I was in no physical or mental capacity to even watch him. So, I'll put my email in here one more time. In case if anybody wants to get a hold of me. I'm thinking about starting a Patreon. There will be probably now. I'm not gonna lie about the Patreon. Not gonna lie where the money's gonna go or anything like that. But I thought about starting one with different tier levels. The highest tier level would be probably $50, and at that $50 mark, I'm thinking I do have Twitter, but I did not, and I signed up for it, but I got I quickly got banned. Let's say under my Joy Spackle. Um, I think the Sparkle Army was on the Spackle Army and didn't really get it, but so I think the highest tier level for Patreon I would probably do would be $50, and I would probably do for at the $50 tier level I would do um, I would write a poem for someone and sign it and send it to you. Um, and then obviously the tier levels under that like $20, and then $5, and then $1. But I'm not quite sure. I've really been debating on whether I wanted to start one or not. It's kind of like I know I can put out good content. I haven't really put out anything good lately. I know that for a fact. But I think that once I kind of get the ball rolling, I think that people would definitely like to to maybe subscribe to the content, I guess. I don't know, but I got banned from Twitter because I'm not quite sure what the deal was. I honestly didn't even read the message. I just know I was banned from it under the Joy Spackle SB name. But I might. Okay, yeah, I might try to. That's a good point. I might try to sign up for under a different Joy Spackle ID there, so we can have Twitter. I'm not quite sure. I do like email because it's more personal and it's more private as well, in my opinion. But okay, I appreciate that tip. I'll check it out and probably sign up again and see if I can actually stay on there without getting banned after. I mean, it didn't take very long for me to get banned. I mean, it was like 20 minutes. It was not. It was terrible. Because I was gonna my plan for it at the time. I signed up for it when I did the Joy Sparkle parody videos, and I was going to do some parody tweets as well, but they didn't like that one too well. So okay, I'll try Twitter. If I have some new viewers that hadn't heard, I do have another comedy channel called Hillbilly Holler. If you search YouTube for Hillbilly Holler channel, the word channel has to be in there. My channel will come up. It does have my two scam calls in there, my IRS scam call and the Microsoft Tech scam call as well. But there's also a monologue I did. Wow, a few years ago. It had been dormant for a while. But there's only 3 videos on there, so it's I don't know. I'm gonna try to revive that channel as well. So, does anyone have any questions about anything? I always say ask if anybody has any questions because I kind of like the question and answer thing. So, in case if anybody wanted to get to, you're welcome. By the way, I also have another channel about where I did poetry, read some of my poetry as well. I'm not gonna give that one out because I think I might get rid of that one. I'm not quite sure. The square root of 37 is 1. I honestly don't know. That's the worst. Favorite way to cook a steak? I like. You're gonna kill me, but I like steak and hamburgers. I like them well done because yeah, growing up on a farm, not really on a farm, but around farms. When I was younger, I just can't have that my dog's hacking up. Yeah, I know. Um, it's definitely I know it's a sin to have it well done, but it can't be. It has to be still juicy as well. So um, charcoal or propane? Uh, Good question. I used to have a propane grill. Grew up on charcoal, which was good. And then when I moved out on my own, I had a propane grill. And then now I'm gonna say neither because I bought recently. I have a smoker, like a wood smoker grill. So I'm gonna have to say wood. So hickory is actually pretty good to be exact. But if I had to choose between charcoal or propane, I would probably say propane, just because you can taste the meat, not the heat. So that's that's a King of the Hill reference there. If anybody watched that, I'm a witch. Yes, I Monty Python. My friends back growing up watched Monty Python all the time. And I only know so much. I know a few references to it, but I don't know that many because I never got around to watching it. Um, Fun fact about Spackle is I have never watched or seen a Star Wars movie. Have not seen one, not even the originals that came out in the 70s. Haven't even seen parts of any, honestly. So, a lot of people that do the Star Wars, they do like the Star Wars references. I have no idea what uh, what they are talking about. So, I do like to troll people on Facebook about Star Wars a little bit. Like the new Star Wars movies that come out, people are like, "Oh, I'm not gonna give you any spoilers, but such and such, whatever." And then I kind of just troll and be like, "Oh, wasn't it funny when at the end of the movie?" And I just make something up, and no one knows what I'm talking about. The airs, I have no idea what the airspeed. That's like a Google question. Um, yeah, I did. Let me think. I had another story to tell, but I don't remember what it was. It'll probably come to me, and I'll probably get on. I'll probably stream or something or make a video sometime. Not quite sure how I really feel about these live streams because they're kind of I don't know, a little unorthodox to say the least. What color box do you find yourself in at the end of the political compass test? Uh, Political compass test. I've never taken one. Is that like a test you have to take? Like they give you like certain issues, and then you give your opinion on certain issues and whatnot, and then at the end they tell you if you're like Democrat or Republican or wherever you or independent. Is that what you're talking about? I If so, if that's what it is, um, I really don't believe. Honestly, I don't believe in a two-party system. Um, in the past, I've called them Democrips and Republicans because they're both not very good. I find myself more a libertarian than anything. If you're wondering, I really don't like to get into political discussions. But what I do know is I want and I think everyone can find. Yeah, um, I think I think anyone can find common ground, especially in today's political climate, regardless if you support the current president or not. I think one thing that everyone has in common is everyone wants the country to succeed, and um, we all obviously have our different ideas of how we want it to succeed, but at the end of the day, everyone wants what's best for the country. And I think that's common ground that we can all start out with is, you know, we all want what's best for the country in America, and we all want America to succeed. Now, there are a select few that want America to fail, which that's a totally different subject. That's a whole different can of worms. So, but I'm I haven't taken one of those tests. I mean, I think I have maybe like a long time ago, and I lean more Democrat. But now, since I'm since I've grown up and I actually have a pretty well paying job, and you know, I, I've seen a lot more things, a little more experience. I lean probably more toward libertarian. Um, probably probably more to the right. Yeah, it's interesting. And I know some people maybe that have taken those tests that are kind of really they're really surprised at what their results are as well. So need to get a drink. That's the special spackle juice. Soup or salad? What kind of soup are we talking? I would go with salad. If it's like I would go with salad if it's like a clam chowder soup because I don't like anything that comes from the water. Like I don't like any seafood stuff. But I would go with soup if it was like a baked potato soup or something of that nature. Chicken noodle soup is pretty good as well. Um, Also depends on what you can put in the salad as well. So if it's like a salad, you can throw tomatoes in and cucumbers and I don't know cauliflower, broccoli, all that stuff. So I have a potato soup. I have a potato soup recipe that's actually really good. Loaded baked potato soup. Um, if anybody wants to email me for that recipe, I can send that to you. It's actually really good. A little complicated, but pretty good. As a parent, what do you think of both the Logan Paul and Shane Dawson controversies? I talked about Logan Paul a little bit last in my last live stream, but I think I don't even remember what I said. I think it was disrespectful to I don't even know if it's real or not, to be honest with you, first of all. And I don't know too much about it either, but um, I think that um, it's in my opinion, it's disrespectful to the family and the person who took their own life to broadcast that. And I think that at the end of the day, I think common sense should dictate what we. You're making me hungry. Stop it. I think common sense should really should really dictate what people throw in video as far as social media and whatnot. But I've found, especially working through life, that common sense is not common anymore. It's absolutely. I don't. I mean, I see people that are just absolutely no common sense whatsoever. Common sense is not common anymore, and you have all these people that want to become big YouTube stars, or they want to try to just push the envelope and whatnot. But so they film like they're filming some guy maybe drowning, or they come up on a car accident, and then they're live streaming someone dying in the car instead of using common sense and actually helping the person out. And that's selfish and almost kind of um, narcissistic in a way as well, because it's in my opinion, I think that I'm not quite sure what happened with Logan Paul as far as his YouTube channel. I'm assuming it's not really looking good for him. But I think that you know, there should be consequences um, for stupidity as well. You know, and it's a sad thing. I'm not familiar with the other person that you mentioned, so um, but you know, it's kind of like uh, I'm not quite sure how old Logan Paul is. I'm assuming he's probably a millennial, and millennials don't really see consequences, or they don't expect consequences, but they need to face consequences for whatever. Yeah, so he fits within that millennial category. So it's definitely one thing that I've noticed navigating through my workplace, where the younger people are definitely entitled and think they're invisible, you know, and you know, teenagers used to. I realize some teenagers growing up used to be that way as well, but there was also kind of somewhat a certain amount of respect people that um, the teenagers had for people as well. Now it seems like they don't respect anyone and is kind of all for themselves. Sorry, had to clear my throat. I hope that answered your question, or maybe it's not quite the input you were looking for. But you know, I think that that's just what I think about it anyway. I just think it's really selfish, narcissistic, and disrespectful. If I had to, Shane Dawson is a sweet guy. Pop started putting out cryptic videos and code claiming he's a pedophile. Interesting. Uh, I don't. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I'll have to look at. I'll have to look and see what that's all about. You know, I think that people, especially in today's world, I think people. And I'm not. You know, I don't want to get into anything really too controversial, but I think that people need to take accusations with a grain of salt, especially with this Me Too movement thing. I think the Me Too movement has been hijacked for for political purposes, and you know it's sad because I know that there are some accusations that are completely true, and but you know there are some other ones that are you know completely unfounded and made up, and you know then you get into muddy waters, and how are you supposed to know who to believe? And it's definitely dangerous in today's world to make a snap decision or snap but judgment when it comes to that subject. But I guess that's probably the most controversial thing I'll probably talk about. But you know, and I'm not don't really care, you know, if people agree with me or not. But I just think that people need to slow down when these accusations come out because a lot of them recently have been found to be um, untrue. So, and I'm not talking about like the I'm not talking about the Roy Moore thing or anything like that. I'm talking about um, like accusations that have been found completely false. Yeah, it's sad, and I mean that it's like the boy who cried wolf, you know. Um, it's well, I mean, even we can even talk about like the news, you know. Honestly, like um, whether you watch CNN, MSNBC, or Fox News, whatever it may be, there's been so many fake or inaccurate news stories out there how do you know like what to believe now? You know, and honestly, that's really the news organization's fault because a lot of times they put out all this propaganda, and it might not be when something true does come out, then a lot of people might not believe them because they put out false stories in the past. Kind of the same concept. But I'm starting to lose my voice for some reason. I don't really talk that much in person, so when I live stream, it's literally the most that I talk probably all week. So sorry. Get more water or spackle juice. Man. Anybody have any other questions or anything for me? I did it. Is it spiked? No, it is just plain water. Plain water from filtered water. I don't drink alcohol. I might have one drink a year, if that, but I haven't had one of those drinks in like it's been about 3 or 4 years now. But the reason I don't drink alcohol is because it burns my stomach, and I don't really you know like it. So, what's your favorite position? Position. Well, I definitely don't. I like to my favorite position. I like to be I like to be in charge, so I kind of like to be like the leader of a group. So, um, I would say if I were ever to become a CEO of a company, then that would be my favorite position. I also think another favorite position is probably quarterback, football team. Uh, Power forward on the basketball court. Um, so you're a top. Top of the class maybe. I just like to be in charge. So, not saying that I am in real life, but usually, like you know how like in high school, you get broke or not, you get put into groups and you do like different projects. I always like to be the leader of the group. Um, I don't know why. I just always have been. So, what would be in a spiked spackle juice mixed drink? Hmm, that's funny. I might have to think about that one. Um, if you had to pierce a part of your body, where would you choose to get a piercing? Probably my ear. Um, we were talking about tattoos the other day, and I wanted to get a tattoo. I don't have any tattoos. I wanted to get one of my son's name on my arm somewhere. So, um, not really into piercing though, but I would say the ear, and it would be a big diamond too. It wouldn't be like a one of those fake cubic zirconiums or whatever cubic zirconian. I don't even know how to say it. Oh my gosh. Looks like Meredith Grace has either been watching or she's new. Spackle juice could be like it could be like some kind of like a twist on a pina colada. Yep, I definitely glad that it is Friday. So, been a long week at work, and I am just ready for the weekend. Ready to go. Gonna get out of town, I think, a little bit for the weekend. Maybe not. I don't know, but have a little bit of a getaway. What kind of TV shows do I watch? Do you have any favorites? Yes, I do. Family Guy, love it. American Dad, love it. Obviously. Um, a new show. I also like the um, Chicago Med, Chicago Fire, and Chicago PD shows. A new show that I've really been getting into is actually um, The Good Doctor. Very good show. Have not seen the Orville. I'm not quite sure if or Orville or Orville. Not quite sure if I would like that one or not. I might check it out and see though sometime. And another show is I used to like Grimm. They don't have that on TV anymore. Another show is Gold Rush. Completely random. Completely random. Okay, I will check out the Orville sometime when I get time. But I also used to watch Robot Chicken back in the day, and I've seen Rick and Morty a couple times. That's not bad. You know, a lot of the Adult Swim stuff is actually really good. But a good drama show that I've been into lately is The Good Doctor. My we went on vacation back in November to Hawaii, and they had Apple TV there, and I know that my wife had watched The Good Doctor here and there, so we binge watched that at night when we got home from hanging out at the beach. Binge watched that Doctor Who. Binge watched that The Good Doctor, the first season there. So, um, and I really got into it. So I'm pretty excited for every time one of those new episodes come out. I'm really excited. I don't even know if Doctor Who's even on anymore. That might be a Netflix type thing. Which I don't have Netflix. I'm too cheap for Netflix. I'm kidding. I thought about getting Netflix or something of that nature, but just haven't taken the plunge. Phone call. I don't even know who that is. Don't even care. But anyway, those are the TV shows that I'm into right now at the moment. I'm sure it'll change, but um, was that? Let's see. Also, Law and Order's not bad. It's kind of hard to find time to watch TV. I usually just DVR them and then we watch them later. So yeah. Any other questions? Yes, I am checking out my hair in the camera. Favorite color, purple. I love the like the lavender type purple. Um, New Year's resolutions, no, but I did make a promise to myself. I guess it is kind of a resolution to um, get myself out there a little more as far as um, like my writing, my poetry, and some other things as well. So I have some goals I want to hit for with my job as well, which I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna be able to meet those or not, but um, definitely something to shoot for. So 2018, I look to be probably hopefully, one of the better years. Um, but I plan on going to a poetry slam this year. I've always been wanting to, so I'll probably go there and present at least one poem, and because I just think that I know that poetry, I know that's one thing that I'm really good at, and you know, I really doubt myself for like everything else in life, but I know that I'm really good at poetry, and I just think I'm too good to be silenced. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was gonna put myself out there and show all those posers how it's done. So in college, I did kind of like a I competed in a talent show, and it was a 3 night thing, and I presented a poem, and I mean, the auditorium was just packed, and I I got a I got a standing ovation all 3 nights. Um, um, I do have poetry online, but it's under my real name. Um, Send me an email. I'll put my email address, and we can email back and forth a little bit, so I know that you're not like a troll or anything. Just I need to build up a little trust, and then I could share that with you. Are you still on that medicine for fibromyalgia? Well, I just had some Little Caesars pizza, so yes I am. And it was good too. So I just want to make sure, Meredith. Just want to make sure. So um, someone else actually emailed me uh, from my last stream about some things, and they found out they use their real name, which is fine. And in turn, because of them using their real name, I gave them a little bit of information about me as well that a lot of people don't know. So, um, but yeah, you can email me there, and then I can point you to where my poetry is. It's not the best poetry, but I do have some online. So, um, but yes. I will get you that soup recipe as well. Reality check. I think you really will like it. It does take some time to make, but it makes quite a bit, and it's very good. So I was put on a Twitter list called Shitlord. That's funny. Is it at least better than a feminist slam? Oh boy, are you? Yes, it is. It is. It's more about It's more about. I really write like how I feel at the time. So it's more my poetry is more like I've always said. I said this in my last stream. Um, the pen ink I see as my blood. So I'm basically spilling my blood all over the paper when I write poetry. And usually when I'm writing poetry, I'm kind of in a trance, and I don't really. I just write, and then I throw it aside, don't even read it, and then sometimes I might go back to it, sometimes I won't. But at the end of the day, I'm pouring my heart out on the paper when I do that. So, but well, I'll point you in the right direction, Meredith, and you can be the judge, I guess. So. Does anybody else have any other questions for me? Otherwise, I do have to go because um, I have to pick up my wife from work and pick up my son from daycare, and yeah, so I have time for one more question, and it has to be a good one. None of this two trains are traveling, one from Chicago and one from Meredith. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate everyone who sticks around for the streams and checks me out. I really do. And like I said, I'll be probably firing up a Patreon here as well. So, um, oh boy, silly questions, silly questions. um, you just get ready for that recipe because you will definitely like it. So, um, just don't come crying to me if you like it so much you start gaining weight. All right. Well, I'm gonna head out. So thank you all very much for watching. I appreciate, like I said, every one of you. Um, I I'm not quite sure. I put my email. Okay, here's my email again. Oops. I can't even type. Joy Spackle sb@gmail.com. Should I put it up again? Now I know you're kidding. So, anyway, so hopefully y'all like my story at the beginning of the stream. The next one, hopefully, I'm gonna put out a video, not a stream. It'll be a video of more comedy stuff. So, thank y'all very much. I appreciate it. Yes, and hope everyone has a great day. And please stay safe. Don't do anything stupid over the weekend. And until next time, find joy and love in the world. So, all right. Peace out.